think we're going live. Let's see. I should be live on both. Pretty volume down. I don't want to get an echo. No comments yet. Hey Bill, what's up? Well, we're gonna show some people how I put an end on. Of course, there's probably 100 different ways, so I'm not saying this is the only way. I got a piece of LMR 400 here, Ultraflex. So we'll pretend this is a half a wave jumper or quarter. A short piece here. I found this old crappy end. Well, it's new. It's just a cheap one. I don't use these ones, but we'll see what happens. Hey, Fred, what's up? What do we got? 2 people in there. 3 people watching on YouTube. So, I got a 100-watt Weller and this little cheap station Tisball. I got it set at 896 and it's got a little tip. It fits in those holes pretty, let's see here, about like that. So let's see here. Alright, we'll get going on this. See how bad I can goof it up on video for the whole world to see. So what I normally do is you want that coating to stop about where the threads are, because we're not going to fold the braid back on this. So just mark it. Just score it a little bit. You don't have to go super deep. That'll rip right off there. Now in theory, the center conductor should be right there. Hopefully when I pull that off, the center don't come out with it, but we'll try it anyway. So instead of trying to cut this, you know, it's all nice and tight here. It's got the foil underneath. So what I normally do is with my bigger iron, let me find something to lay this on here. I'll just use these cuts here. And like I said, this is not set in stone or anything like that. That's just how I do it. And it's worked pretty good. I haven't had anybody call me the stuff that I made for them. Yeah, this soldering iron here is, I don't use it a whole lot, so just tin it around here. Now, with that being the foam inside, let it cool down some before you go starting to cut that. So the next, right here at the top, is where that insulator starts inside. Oh, about right there, middle ways of that. So of course we're gonna score it and cut it right around right here on that ridge. We got 6 people watching. We got 7 on YouTube. That way you don't smash it down in there anyway. This is the hardest part. I just score it with this knife here. Just like so. try not to pull the center out of this short piece of coax. Got the outside braid off, and you don't really want to cut down into your center conductor. Pull that off just like so. Now I need to get a better camera. Focus. Is it gonna focus? Anyway, it's right even there, and you always want to make sure you don't get any of that foil down around that center conductor. I should have my glasses on. Just clean all that up some. Just like so. Hey Larry, well hopefully it helps somebody. Like I said, there's so many ways to put ends on. This is the way I do it. So once you got all that, so we'll put that back up there. That's a little, I cut it a little shorter. So when you put that up there, if it looks like you're going to have some of this black coating in those holes, like this one here, just trim it like a little bit off of that, just so you're not fighting that when you're trying to solder it. And this is for guys that's just joining. This is 400 LMR 400 UF. So I trimmed that little ring off. We're pretty close to being, when we screw this in, to where that's bottomed out in there. And then I made sure I got everything off of that. Is this the piece I got? Well, no, it won't either. Sometimes I'll put a little piece of big crash, a little piece of heat shrink in there. You don't have to. Slide that on, just so when you put that in there, it gives it a little more something in there. Take a little torch, heat that up a little bit. Now when you slide that on there, it'll smash it down some. Let me grab this. My buddy Dallas commented on the one earlier. He said the t-shirt burning was going to be starting up about coax. Every time somebody mentions coax, it don't matter what group it's in, everybody usually starts fighting. So like I said, you don't have to do that. Sometimes I do and don't. So now we'll just screw that on there. Channel locks. And two, when you're doing coax with big center conductors, make sure they all go in there, and you don't twist one down and short it out. I've done that. That sucks. Need a wide angle camera, but let's see, let's go. It's hard to hold that little piece of coax. Alright, so we got her in there. I don't know if you guys can see it, that camera sucks, but right there is our braid, and we didn't fold it back like on that video I did earlier. Normally I got that a little shorter, but so now we'll do the center conductor here. Hopefully you guys can see it. It sounds like UPS truck. Figures I'm gonna get UPS while I'm doing a video. I just put a little bit on there. Side cuts and snip that off. If it's sticking out farther and you don't put a little bit of solder to hold it when you cut it, sometimes it'll bend the burr up on the end here. So got that cut off. Little bits of solder. As you heat it up, you'll be able to see it go in there. Just like so. And what I normally do is sometimes you get a little bit of flux, just wipe it off while it's still warm. Don't do it right after you solder, because you'll wipe your solder out. I did that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Oh, why ain't that focusing? Is it because of those pliers? Todd, this is just a cheap, junky one that I found in a box. I normally get the ones from ICA or from DX. Depending if the customer wants Anthanol, I'll get them from DX. So, got that one done. And now, I know there was a comment the guy asked about what size soldering iron. I used to have a different tip for this big 100 water. But every time you'd put it in there, I should have shut it off so it was cooled down. Let me see. We'll just pretend this is a big flat one. But every time you put it in there, it would always want to go everywhere, all over everything. So I've got one of these little ones here. This is the one I just used for these tips here. So it's cut on like a 45 or a 30 degree angle. I always just put it in a hole like that, get some solder, because you already have the braid pre-soldered, so you don't really need to go crazy. I use one of these little torches. I preheat it a little bit. I mean, you don't have to get crazy. Just warm up the fitting some. Just so it warms it up and it doesn't cool as quick. What I normally do is set that in there like that, and you'll tell. I'll show you guys. It's probably going to make a liar out of me tonight. I didn't get it hot enough. Hold on. But see how that ball of solder's in there? Right on that tip? If I had this a little hotter, I was getting excited on video. It just sucked it in. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll post up a picture. This camera sucks. But it went right in the hole. As we got the thing warm. Now if you're doing, you know, we'll just say if you're doing like a big spool of coax, you don't want to heat that up real hot and then start bending the crap out of it. So what I normally do is have it coiled up and I'll flip it over, and then so right across from where I just soldered, I'll hit this next one. I got the towel mounted on there now. But it'll start to go in here in a minute. next one. Having difficulties here. Just dripped out. It's full. You guys can see that. I just had a little bit run out one of the other holes. And just leave it, you'll be fine. Then, double check. I normally check before I solder it just to make sure it's not shorted out anywhere, but I'll post up a picture of this, and hopefully it helps some of you guys out that have smaller soldering irons and trying to get the shield to solder on there. I think his tip's about wore out, to be honest with you. But that's it. Hopefully that helps somebody, and I'll post a picture of this. But yeah, you can kind of see it. It just sucked it right in there. And then we actually had see that drop. That dropped out of one of the other ones here on the bottom. So it wicked it all in there. But not bad for being on camera and however many people watching. So anyway, let's grab one of these. I'll get a new connector here, brand new. Oh, it's still warm. Slides right in, nice and neat. You get a big gob here, you cram it in. There's 4 little cuts in that. It'll eventually start spreading it open. And I've worked on a couple repairs that the coax, it was hardly even touching in there. But that's a nice smooth fit. Alright guys, hopefully that helps somebody out. Oh, also too, if you're doing the ones with the reducers for, I don't know, RG8X Mini or 240 or whatever, I do the same thing with it. I fold it over after I screw it together and preheat everything and just let the solder suck around in there, and you'll be good to go. Alright guys, you guys have a good one. Hopefully that helped. Hey Mike, yeah, if in my soldering iron set it, I'll go back through the questions here or comments. My little soldering iron, it goes up to 895. That's what I soldered that with. What did I do with the coax? I lost it. And then I just preheat it with that. And like I said, as long as you don't go bending it all crazy like and getting the center conductor all out of whack in there, you'll be good to go. And I haven't had any issues, and I've put, well, I ran that 32 pill on there and I haven't had any issues with it. But that's a lot better than folding the braid back over on this rubber for a ground, because that will not work. But anyway, let's go through some of these questions. Let's see. We didn't get a lot of comments. Everybody must be eating dinner or something. Yeah, it's, Todd, those are, I don't know, they're just some off-brand. I bought a few of them for my stuff. 100-watt Weller works well. Fill holes. Yep. And this Weller I got's 100. I just don't have a small tip for it. And I mainly just used it for power wires and doing coax whenever I do that. But most of the time I just use this little one and the torch and heat it up, and it'll wick right in there like you do a copper pipe. Let's see what we got. No comments on. Oh, Mike, you're watching from YouTube and Facebook. Cool. Alright, guys. You guys have a good night. I'm going to go get some dinner. Hopefully that helps. You guys get that in there. And then for the 400, RG 400, I know, I can't remember who did it. I think it was BBI showed a video. This ain't the right reducer, but you can trim that back and actually put your solder inside and just do it that way, and then screw the fitting on, do your center conductor, and I would still put some solder on the holes to keep that locked in there. But you'd be good to go. Alright guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Later guys.